Look, when you look at salmon flies, there's a few different styles available. I tend to stick with the ones that work for me. There's a few different styles. I use a lot of what they call the mylar minnow, which is essentially just imitates a little white bait pattern and has trailing here, a little bit more movement and stuff like that. Very easy to cast and moves through the water very well. So I tend to use those in a couple of different sizes, depending on what's around. You can also use what they call just a polar fibre minnow, and that's a very basic little minnow, and that strips through the water, looks essentially like a white bait, or in the smaller sizes it can look like krill, which is essentially like a little prawn that in very small sizes, and the salmon tend to murder those in big numbers, so they're quite a good fly. You can also use sort of something like this, which is in a longer version, and that can imitate a lot of things. It might even look like to a fish, like to a garfish or something like that. So they're always a good fly to use, nice and slender, and pretty good results with that. When you need to get down deep, we tend to use what they call what's that one called? Clouser. A clouser. It's a white clouser. And that tends to, again, there's various colours with reds and blues. I tend to use white. And then also in green as well, just to give a little bit of colour, and sometimes to make it look slightly different to like the natural fish that's swimming about. When it all gets really good and you've got pretty big numbers, then you can also go for a popper. And this is one that with a foam head, and that sort of has a lot of arms and legs just to entice a little bit of movement there, and that essentially pops through the water, and that's pretty exciting fishing once they get onto that. So a few different styles. Have them all in your kit when you're out here, so whatever they're feeding on, you're going to have something to catch them on. Good, just a great bait school here that's just been herded up. So we're just casting to the side of it and just putting the flies just down the side, and sure enough there was a salmon that she's come out and nailed that longer fly, something a little different. So there's obviously millions of these little white bait here, so we put something a little bit brighter, and it certainly worked here. They're just great fish. Salmon is something that you never get tired of catching. So there you go, just a great fish. Again, not big, probably just a pound or something like that, but just great fun, and they certainly love this fly and they certainly give it a smack. So get him back in, and away he goes. We just found that on the bottom of the boat. That come out of that salmon's mouth that we just hooked there. So that's what all these little whitebait or little anchovies in there, millions of them. Keep this all in one big heap if we herd them. There you go. Well, it got to a point where Ed got sick of watching us catch these salmon, so he put the camera down and pinched the rod. Good little salmon. Good work. Well, we're getting towards the end of the day. It's been hard going, and we've just found another school of bait fish again when the birds are sort of working on them. So we're just going to concentrate around that school and put our fly just on the outskirts of that and see if we can't pick up another fish or two just before the end of the day, just to cap it off. Catch fish. So we're getting near the end of the day, and it's been hard work. So it's good to finally just get another one, just to sort of finish off. And she's been pretty tough going, really. I mean, we've had some good schools of bait fish and things like that, but the fish really haven't been here in or the size that we're normally after. So still great, and you never get sick of catching even little fish on the fly. But these salmon, once you get them into some of the bigger size, I mean, you'll get them up to, you know, like 4 or 5 pound regularly here. And once you do that, the fight's obviously a lot longer and a lot more fun as well. So they're good. Even on this one, I mean, we're using an 8 weight now. That's a Thompson TNT, quite a fast action rod. Again with a Gavin reel, which has got a very good drag. Not necessarily on these smaller fish, you don't need it, but a lot of the larger ones that we'll show you. We'll get back here and show you what salmon fishing can be like with some of the bigger schools, and we'll show you why you need a really good drag like these Gavins. We'll get this fish in. And a beauty. Just a lovely fish. They're just muscle. There's no fat at all on these fish, and they're just a big ball of muscle and a nice big forked tail to get plenty of power as well. So I certainly love that fly. Right in there. Get him out and get him back in the water, and he'll just grow bigger for you to catch maybe in a year or two's time. Go. Well, that's all we've got time for today. I hope you've enjoyed the show. It's been great fun. The fish haven't been huge, but it's still an enormous buzz when you see them boiling and things like that. So once you get that hook up, again, that, for me anyway, that's really important. It's very early in the salmon season, so as the season progresses, we'll get bigger schools and bigger numbers and a bigger size as well. So if you can get a boat, get down here and have a go, and you're going to enjoy it. So that's all we've got. I look forward to seeing you next week on The Fly.